Welcome everyone to our AI in the Workplace session. My name is Luis and I'm one of the training specialists here at designDATA. The learning goal here today is to discover how to leverage AI in the workplace. And so to accomplish this, together we're going to quickly survey applications that you might already have access to, including Zoom's AI companion, some of the features that are already built in to the Microsoft Office suite, some of those AI tools that are already in there, and also a generative AI tool that, again, you may also have access to this tool already. And then later, we will identify risks and mitigations with this technology. Let's begin. Many people believe that artificial intelligence has been around for only a short while. But the reality is this technology has been decades in the making. It wasn't until November 2022 that ChatGPT became a household name. And then all of a sudden, people recognized that there was disruptive potential with this technology and its soon impact in our modern world. And every year since that time, since November 2022, we've only seen this technology improve. Sorry, I keep kind of hearing audio in the background. I'm going to go ahead and hit mute all, but feel free again if you have any questions to drop your questions there in the chat. Okay, so you and I have already been using artificial intelligence, some of the technology that you use on a regular basis. Just out of curiosity, any thoughts on that? Any AI technology that you've been using? Feel free to share in the chat. What might be some maybe autocomplete technology that you've been using today? Yes, Grammarly, that is a highly popular one. Thanks for mentioning that one. Some note taker AI technology, exactly right, text messaging technology. So this has been around for quite some time. So if you've been typing a text message to a friend and autocomplete has jumped in on your behalf, that is AI technology taking place. I'm sure many of us can, Catherine, just like you mentioned there in the chat, that predictive text or autocorrect in iOS or on the Apple phones or even on Android phones too. Sometimes I get it wrong and you didn't intend to say that word or that phrase. That's a component of AI taking place. Some of that autocomplete, autocorrect, predictive text and so forth. You may have been using Alexa or Siri. So some of these tools to, verbally prompt them to engage with you. That's using artificial intelligence. And what about the websites that you've been visiting? It's been around for some time, chatbots or virtual assistants. So for example, maybe you're interested to purchase a replacement mobile phone and you interact with this tool and it kind of gives you some of these menu prompts to walk you through the process of either troubleshooting the device or learning more about some of the products that they have, or you just want to hit the button that says, get me to a representative. That's AI technology that's taking place behind the scenes that supports these technologies. So it has been around for quite some time. And believe it or not, some of these AI features have been available in the Microsoft Office suite. We'll see them momentarily as well. So I have a number of different examples that I'd like to demonstrate for you today as it relates to AI inside the workplace. And so the first one is going to be inside of Zoom. So please pardon if some of these features may not be visible because we're using Zoom to try to illustrate this, but we'll try our best to showcase some of this around Zoom. So one of the features that Zoom has recently released is Zoom AI Companion. If you don't mind just letting me know by a thumbs up, on the Zoom menu, the same area where you were reacting or responding in chat, Do you have an AI companion icon? Kind of looks like a yellow star. Just want to make sure, I want to see if that's on your menu. Okay, perfect, I'm seeing that. When you click on that button, what are some of the text that you might see? Do you see anything like summary or questions? Great. Now I see some may not see that button on their Zoom menu. You, depending on how you logged into today's session, you may need to kind of scroll through the menu, or you might need to update the Zoom AI companion, or excuse me, update the Zoom desktop application for it to be visible. Great. Okay. So you see the summary. Feel free. We might have enough time. Right now, we're about 8 minutes into today's session. It may or may not have enough service behind it for it to do this, but try that summary option. Go ahead and click on summary, see what it gives you, and feel free to chime in the chat what you see. Vendetta, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, you might need to click on more, and you get to see some more options to select from. And then see if you, when you click on summary, does it generate a summary of today's session so far? Okay, there may not be enough time yet that's taken place, but let me go ahead and just briefly explain what's going on. Because we're using this AI technology right now, what's taking place is that it's recording today's session and it's capturing all of my words and it's transcribing it on the back end. When there's enough time that takes place and there's enough transcript for it to work from, then it could help to generate summaries and so forth. Okay, perfect. Jessica, thanks for mentioning that. Go ahead and hit catch me up. Excellent. Thanks for saying that. So when you click on catch me up, that's going to generate a quick summary of what's happened up to this moment. So if you're running a Zoom meeting and somebody joins a little bit late, they probably don't want to interrupt the presenter. And so they may quietly on the back end click on that catch me up. That is an incredibly useful feature because it might just be one person who needs that catch me up. And that way it doesn't interfere with everybody else's learning experience. There may also be some other buttons that show up there. So to see that catch me up, you need to click on that AI companion icon across the bottom of your Zoom. So it's hard for me to show because I'm demoing from Zoom. But once you click on the AI companion, it looks just like this one here. And then you'll see this sidebar show up. Now you might need to be, if you're not already, on the desktop version of Zoom so you can see this. And or you might need to update the latest version of Zoom to see this. But once you click on that AI companion across the bottom of your screen, this new window shows up on the side of your screen. And it gives you some sample in-meeting questions that you could prompt the AI tool. You could use that catch me up. You could ask, was my name mentioned, or just click it? Or are there any pending action items? This is AI technology that's taking place on the back end. Incredibly useful service. Let's go ahead and look at another AI feature. Now I'm going to go ahead and see. I want to see if this fits here. Otherwise, we might need to, I might just need to show you the screenshot of this. Give me one moment to set this up. Okay, if you don't mind giving me a thumbs up that you see this whiteboard on your screen. Thumbs up if you, okay, excellent. Thank you so much. Excellent. So there's a lot that we can show about whiteboard, but today we're just looking at some of the AI features with some of the tools that you might already be using. Now, on the very far left side of the screen, on my side, I have a menu. And I have a whiteboard content generation with AI Companion. Now, a new window pops up for me. And again, it might not be visible to you because I'm using Zoom to demonstrate this. So some of these features may not be visible to you. But once I click on that AI Companion icon on the whiteboard menu, I have a new window that shows up and it says whiteboard content generation with AI Companion. And either I can type in a prompt or I could select one from the list. So I'm going to just choose the default there, which says, give me a list of successful presentation techniques. All right, you should now see, if you don't mind giving me a thumbs up, that you could see a bunch of sticky notes. All right, perfect, thank you. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with like ChatGPT and tools like it. Well, something else can be used is this AI feature. You could use this tool inside a whiteboard to help brainstorm with projects or other ideas. So as you can see, I didn't need to just come off the top of my head to learn some presentation techniques. I could use AI to, generate a roadmap for me. And so I might want to see, how can I use this to tell a story or use visuals, engage the audience, or try to keep it simple, and so forth. And there are so many other use cases with these AI tools here as well. Right now, we're just looking at one example just to get started. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close out of the whiteboard here. And again, if you don't mind giving me a thumbs up, you can see my PowerPoint screen again. Perfect, thank you. The other one is smart recording. And I need to show what it looks like on my side so that we can actually see this in action, or what happens as you're recording. So with smart recording, I'm going to open up, let's see, this one here. With smart recording, what happens is as it processes the recording that took place, you'll see that you'll have a couple of new tabs that show up on the bottom of the video. You'll get a summary and some smart chapters. So just like with the Catch Me Up service that we saw earlier, it's going to look at the transcript and try to intelligently provide an overall summary of that recording and try to include chapters. Now, it's going to do its best. It's not going to be perfect, but it does a really good job of trying to segment different talking points. And you could see, you could always edit some of these chapters over the course of time and as needed. You could see as I hover over these different chapters, there's a short segment that talks about what those topics may be covering. And again, it's going to do its best job. Just like with all AI tools, it's important that you and I are verifying what it gives. But again, it gives you a good sense of what to expect in these recordings before even needing to go through everything yourself. So you can quickly just skip through different parts of the recording timeline and get right to where you need to go. In addition to that, you're going to get an email that looks like this one. You may have been part of our SharePoint and intranet recording that we hosted a couple of weeks ago. So after the recording takes place and processing, you're going to get an email that looks like this gives you a quick recap, what some next steps or pending action items are, summary of different topics or the chapters of the specific recording. So this is a great resource that you might want to share with colleagues who weren't able to participate in the meeting. And so you got this all recorded. You could send it to them. And keep in mind, just like what we saw here, AI generated content may be inaccurate or misleading. Always check for accuracy. It's something that you're going to hear me sound like a broken record here, but AI doesn't quite know what is true and not true. But it's going to do its best to try to highlight what's taken place with the meetings or with any of the responses that it gives you. So lastly, with this smart recording is the My Meeting Coach. When I click on My Meeting Coach, this gives me insight in my presentation delivery. You'll see that in this recording, there was a 100% ratio. So I'm the only speaker of this. So it may prompt me, you may want to talk a little less. You might want to have a little bit more dynamic engagement with people and so forth. What my longest spiel is, my use of filler words, things like or that's all being captured by this tool. And this is going to give me a lot of insight so I can learn to improve my own presentation skill sets. Okay, it's been some time. We're about 20 minutes into today's session. Go ahead and click on that Zoom AI companion again across the bottom of your screen. And let's try out that Catch Me Up and see how you like it. How's the response on your side when you use Catch Me Up? Is it doing a good job in generating that summary? You might need to update the Zoom desktop application to see it. Generally speaking, what it looks like, once you open up Zoom, you just click on this Zoom AI companion across the bottom of the screen, and then you'll see this pop-up window on the side, and then you can interact with these buttons. Good. I see a couple of people are saying it. Pretty good summary. Excellent. So good question. Are summaries identical for all participants? At least as I have experienced it so far, AI tends to have like a unique summary for each person who prompts it. It might be dependent on when the person generate or clicks on that button, or I haven't seen it produce the same result even with the same prompt. Great. I see a couple of people sharing the summary responses. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like so far that they're a little bit different, but it gives you like a good gist of how it works. So see how this might be a useful technology for you and your organization. There might be some more question and investigation we need to look into for some of the privacy related features. So it may or may not apply in your organization, but this is something that you may consider as an option for you. Okay, let's go ahead and look at some additional features of AI. Let's go ahead and move into Microsoft Office AI features. Pete Kurt, thanks for sharing that link there. Zoom AI companion features on how it handles your data. It's being sent directly from Zoom's main website. Thank you, sir. All right, so let's first look at PowerPoint. We got a couple of different applications that we're going to show. All right, so this is PowerPoint, and I want to show you two AI features that are built in to PowerPoint. I can't show every single AI features with all these applications, but I want to just introduce you to some of them. So the first one, with PowerPoint open, I'm going to click on Home. I'll see this designer icon on the very far right-hand side of my screen of PowerPoint. Once I click on Designer, this is AI technology taking place on the back end. It's going to be generating ideas. You'll see that it's going to give me ideas to update or change the color of the background or the icons, see what they look differently, see how I can portray the same information just in a different way. And I might select one that works better for my next presentation. And at any point, if I don't like the results, I can always just close it and reopen Designer, and it's going to generate some fresh ideas on what I could do differently. This is one way that you could use AI for your next PowerPoint. Here's another PowerPoint AI feature. Once you go to the slideshow tab, you'll see that there is a rehearse with coach. Go ahead and click on, if you're following along, you can feel free to click on rehearse with coach. And once we do that, you'll see that the window shows up and a new pop-up window shows up on the bottom right-hand corner of my screen. It says feedback. This is a great tool to use if you haven't done this. If you're getting ready for your next presentation, you may want to use this one. You see, what this coach is going to do is inform me of my presentation style. It's going to let me know where I need to improve or where I'm doing well or excelling in. So for example, you'll notice that it doesn't like when I say or other fillers. It's going to let me know, yeah, you're using this a little bit too much, or you might want to improve on this. It's going to tell me a lot more information, and I'll show you in just a moment. This is similar to Zoom's meeting coach that we saw earlier. All right. So once I break out of that, a new dashboard is going to show this rehearsal report, and it's going to let me know, overall, good job. Keep up the hard work. Seems that I need to improve on my fillers and see how I can eliminate some of that language and how I present. At least as far as 45 seconds go, I avoided repetitive language and I've used inclusive language. Here's some other insights though. How is my pace, especially over time? You can see from 0, all of a sudden it starts to have this window of my pace over time. It seems that maybe I want to change my pitch, try increasing the tone for key points, try to avoid having a more monotonous tone and so forth. And originality. If you haven't used this feature, this is something really fantastic that you could use for your next PowerPoint presentation. All right, so let's go ahead and move into features inside of Word. All right, let me go ahead and open up Microsoft Word here. This is just some sample text. Okay, so inside of Word, we can use this editor tool. And this is something beyond just spelling and grammar and so forth. So inside of Word, when you have the Home tab selected, on the far right, you'll see this editor icon. When you click on the editor icon, it's going to give you some insights on the text inside of this Word document. You can see it's giving me a score of 62, at least as it relates to,
misspelled, understanden, understanden, motivation. This involves understanding the factors that drive athletes to perform. Misspelled, understanding, understanden, motivation. This involves understanding the factors that drive athletes to perform at their best, and developing strategies to enhance their motivation.
See how I can just turn that off. Apologies for that. Yes, Clippy was upset with my misspellings there. Okay. All right, so you'll see the editor score here, and it's all based, I see some people remember Clippy. You can see that I can change the writing style so that Word is analyzing the text in a different way. Do I want it to be formal, professional, or more casual? And you can see that the score changes over time. Now, I need to make some changes here. I did need to hit ignore. I was trying to fix that there. But earlier we saw that this understanding was marked, so it let me know that this was a misspelling there. So of course I would retype that and resolve any misspellings there. I would also see where there are some issues. So you can see on the very bottom left hand here, I'm repeating that word. So this is going to clue me in. And some of these refinements will update over the course of time. Now, let's see. I've intentionally put this in here for the text as it relates to AI. AI is a great supportive companion, co-pilot, and so on, but you don't want to rely on it 100%. So, for example, I typed in the future, sports psychology of sports. That doesn't sound necessarily right. And as far as AI is concerned, it wasn't able to catch this change. And so while beneficial AI might be, it's still important for you and I to re-review the text before we commit to publishing this to, let's say, like an article or a blog post on our website and so forth. It's really important that you and I as the human are validating what we're about to publish. So use AI as that helper for you, but don't trust it 100%. So again, it's just going to give you a lot of different AI features, text prediction, and so forth inside of Word. Let's go ahead and look at Excel. This will be our next one to look at. And there are a couple here inside of Excel. So let me go ahead and open up here. Okay. This is already built into Microsoft Office Suite 2. So while I'm in the Home tab, I'm going to click on Analyze Data. Now, I don't have sample data right now, but Microsoft gives us some data. So I can go ahead and click on Try an Example and see how this Analyze Data works. Now, this might be data that you're using, and it might be real production data that's important for you. When you click on that Analyze Data, you'll get a window that shows up like this on the right side. And I'll have a field and a number of suggestions that I can select from. I could use some of the insights that it's already giving me here and already create a pivot table for me. And so I could select any one of these, and it already has helped me to solve this and make this information a little bit easier to understand. All of this is already available inside of your Excel. So it might even be worth using this Analyze Data and just see how the data presents itself in a variety of ways. So the same thing, in addition to this Analyze Data, the same thing could be said for these recommended charts, because even these are using a component of AI to see how they can automatically plot these for you based off of this raw data. All of this is using a component of AI to illustrate this. All right, let's go ahead and look at AI inside of Teams. So there's just a couple here that we're going to see inside of Teams, and I think you'd really appreciate it. So the first one being live translated caption. So what I'm going to do is I've got a meeting here inside of Teams, and I've activated live captions. I've activated live captions here, and you'll see this is my caption window here, and then I have this caption settings window that also shows up. You'll see that I have caption language, spoken language, styles, and so on. So let's go ahead and use this as an example. Hola, me llamo Luis. ¿Cómo estás? How great is that? Microsoft Teams was able to translate my words from Spanish into English in record amount of time. And as you can see, if I needed to update this here from a different caption language, I have a whole list to select from. And if anyone speaks another language like Arabic or Chinese or Dutch and so forth, these are also available too. The second one that I wanted to show you here is a recap. Microsoft Teams intelligent meeting recap looks like this. I can't show you like a live one, but this is a screenshot of what it looks like. Now, this does require a premium license to take advantage of this inside of Microsoft Teams. As you can see, as the meeting has been recorded and processed, I have some of the contents that were referenced inside of the meeting, like the attachments and so forth. I have some meeting notes here. I have the AI notes, which is going to include like the summaries and so forth, the mentions of specific people. So if this was a meeting that I missed and I'd like to know where are areas that are applicable to me and where my name was mentioned, I could look at it here. I have the transcript and even the chat, if there was any like text-based chats in there. Additionally, I have the different speakers, and I could see visually where Mona was speaking versus Babak and Danielle and so forth. The topics and the chapters. So just like with Zoom's AI companion and summary or smart recording rather, it's able to capture the topics, the chapters, the speakers, and so on. All right, just out of curiosity, with some of the Zoom AI features and the Microsoft Office features that I've shared so far, what have been like your favorite AI features? Just out of curiosity. Was it Zoom AI Companion meeting summary? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Victor. The meeting summary. Was it Excel's Analyze feature, the PowerPoint AI, the Teams meeting recap? Okay, making pivot tables in Excel. Yep, thank you. The rehearsal coach, thank you. Yeah. What are my action items in Zoom? Yeah, that's a great point. Catch me up. Seems like a lot of people like the catch me up. The PowerPoint one looks really good. The translation features, great, excellent. Excel analyzing data, excellent. Great. Let's go ahead and look at another AI tool, namely around generative AI. Now, generative AI tools are booming. Providers like OpenAI's ChatGPT, Microsoft's Copilot, which is what I'm going to show here in just a moment, Google's Gemini, and others, they are demonstrating the disruptive potential of this technology. Only a few months ago, where AI was a text-based only modality, it's now running on multimodal input and output. But instead of me explaining how it works, let's see how Copilot here can explain it to us. So use analogies to help me understand multimodal AI. Let's see how Copilot responds here. It's going to give me an orchestra analogy. So imagine a traditional single modal AI model is listening to just one instrument in an orchestra, like a violin. It's beautiful but limited. Now consider multimodal AI has having the entire orchestra, all of those instruments, playing in harmony. Each instrument or modality contributes unique information, and together they create a richer, more comprehensive understanding. Okay, well, what does this look like? In essence, multimodal AI combines diverse data sources, whether it's text, and that's what you just saw me there. I was prompting through text. I could do images. I could add an image. I could use an audio form. That's all. Those are all of those inputs there. And depending on the tool, it can also respond with audio, with video, with images, with text. So that's the whole nature of a multimodal AI tools. Now you can learn more about AI prompt engineering in our prompt engineering session for more. But just to give a couple of other examples that we could look at in using some of these generative AI tools, you might say something like this: summarize this organization based on their website. Now, Copilot, it does have access to the internet, so it recognizes what this website is. And as you can see, it's going to analyze designDATA's website. We are a managed IT service provider. We offer innovative solutions. Here are 4 of the solutions: managed IT services, cybersecurity solutions, data center and cloud services, productivity solutions, and so on. And I have these follow-up prompts that I could use too, like which industries do they serve? And you'll notice that it lists out some of the industries that we work with. Now, again, I know that I sound like a broken record, but I just have to keep emphasizing it. All of these AI tools will have a disclaimer that says AI-generated content may be inaccurate. It's just how the nature of how the tool works behind the scenes. It's making a best guess based off of the select texts or whatever input that I'm giving it, and whatever access to information that the tool is using, or whatever data set it understands. And it's going to just try to associate one word or one series of text together and say, based off all this information, I think this is what you're looking for. That's like a rough draft in a nutshell of how some of these tools are working. So as confident as these tools sound, keep in mind that you and I as the human need to validate the responses. All right, now inside of this same thread of conversation that we have with Copilot here, and this is similar with ChatGPT and others, I might want to do this: generate a logo based on this organization. Oh, all right, let's see. Or maybe it worked. Let's see. Let's find out. That's the fun nature of live demos. It's always you're not sure what to find here. Excellent. Looks like it did work. So as you can see, I gave an input of text, but it gave me an output of an image. And it's given me a couple of different AI generated photos. It even gives me some content credentials that I could use for reference. There's many different ways to use these generative AI tools like what we saw here. And I want to encourage you to take a look at our on-demand video library to see more of how you could use these AI tools. But just out of curiosity in the chat, what other AI-related either applications or use cases would you be interested in? Just out of curiosity. Would love to hear from you, especially if you have like a deeper use case scenario that you'd like to see. Feel free to share those comments in the feedback survey that follows today's session. If we're getting enough feedback on any one of these use case scenarios or applications and so on, we can create an AI session around it, introducing you to how these tools work and how you can begin to use it in your environment. Generating summary from data in Excel. Great, okay. Another question for you before we get into our risks and mitigations section, and feel free if you prefer sending a private message inside of Zoom here. Just out of curiosity, what concerns might you have in using AI? What concerns might you have using AI? Confidentiality, copyright issues, inaccurate information, AI art and text being stolen. There are a number of lawsuits going on right now from the entertainment industry. Exposing proprietary data, don't want the model training on private data, scams, over reliance on it without proper scrutiny, where the data ends up. Yeah, private confidential information being leaked. Yeah, thanks for sharing these. These are concerns that many of us do have. We're going to cover some of them here in today's session about some of the risks with using these tools and just spark some ideas on how to mitigate some of those risks. And a lot of this is actually based off of our head of emerging technology, Greg Starling's white paper. If you were part of our in-person AI event just a couple of months ago, Greg Starling shared this white paper called Leading Through the AI Revolution. He goes into this in more depth than what I can cover today. But if you'd like a copy of this, and if you don't already have access to it, feel free to email us at training@designDATA.com. But just quickly, there are some core challenges here. AI, it really is an exciting technology to embrace, but it does come with risks. Now, there is a risk of not adopting this technology. That could translate to loss of competitive advantage or market relevance. And so every industry is learning how to harness these tools. Now, if you decide to adopt similar technologies like Copilot and so forth, there are two risk categories to consider. And we're seeing two of them here. Input risks, or the information submitted into the platform. You see an employee, like mentioned in the text earlier, in our text chat here, an employee may inadvertently leak proprietary or confidential data to the public, uploading, let's say, confidential floor plan images or trade secret documents that undermine an organization. And depending on the AI tool, these submissions could be used to train the model on your proprietary data. That is a risk. What about output risks or the responses that you see from these AI tools? Well, an employee may blindly accept that AI generated a result without verifying it. The way the model works is that it's predicting what words make the most sense given whatever you feed it or whatever text you enter in that prompt window. And while it responds confident, it may be entirely fabricated. This is otherwise known as a hallucination. And as you might imagine, this can quickly lead to spreading mis or disinformation, where it's like unintended, misleading, or intentional deceiving of people. So you'll find, just like what I showed with Copilot, there are disclaimers on every platform that says it may produce inaccurate, harmful, or even biased responses. So as you use these tools, be sure to always verify its output. So what about mitigation? Well, according to a recent Menlo security report 55% of corporate generative AI input contained personally identifiable information, or PII, or other sensitive information. So you might imagine consequences like these can be disastrous. So what are some ways that we can mitigate some of this? You can anonymize the data. You can replace company name and specifics with generic names. This is going to help reduce personal data exposure. You can understand and leverage the AI platform policies, so you can learn how the platform handles one's data. Some of the AI tools are actively using the prompts that are used and the responses that you see to train their models. But other AI platforms or subscription bases are not doing that. So it's something to keep in mind and read a little bit more about these tools to ensure that you're on the right platform, on the right subscription tier, and so on. Also, establishing data governance policies. So implementing access control guidelines, having regular audits, try to encourage and ensure overall compliance among your team or your staff. And these policies, they're all going to vary depending on how an organization intends to use these AI tools. And doing what you and I are doing today, continuing user education and informing staff what is considered or constitutes as safe data sharing to avoid misuse. That's as it relates to mitigating input risks. Now, as it relates to mitigating AI output mitigations, how we can address some of this is with cross-verification. Always verify the results provided by AI, especially before publication or other high-stake actions. This may be evaluating the source material that was referenced in the AI output. So just to kind of give you an example here, we saw earlier that Copilot was giving me a couple of links. So I'm going to probably want to go back in here and verify the results and actually scan through that message, analyze the contents, and so forth. So reviewing that source material, those reference links, and so on. This is otherwise known as human in the loop, where you are verifying these responses here. You know, in the whole cybersecurity space, this may also be, you might be familiar with this too, like verification policies or validation processes. So let's say a colleague is asking you for a certain dollar amount to make a purchase. Well, you probably want to verify that this was a legitimate request. You might want to have a third party to validate that this is authorized, and so on. And lastly, another output mitigation here is to think of AI as your companion to support decision making instead of being the primary decision maker. So you'll find with a lot of these AI tools that they're referred to as co-pilot. So you and I are going to be the drivers. We're going to be the main pilot, but these AI tools are going to be your co-pilot. Same thing with Zoom's AI companion. A lot of this language is to emphasize that you and I are the primary drivers of these tools, and AI is just supportive or supplemental in nature. Feel free to email us at training@designdata.com to learn more about how you can get access to Greg Starling's white paper, where he's going to go in a little bit more depth than what I can cover today. All right, so we're going to be looking here just briefly at guiding AI principles. You see a number of organizations, they're starting to think through, like, how are we going to approach using AI? And so a number of organizations have developed these guidelines to help inform them, help them pioneer this uncharted landscape and to do it in a ethical manner. So Anthropic, one organization, their guidelines are that the AI tools should be helpful, honest, and harmless. Microsoft has these as their guiding principles. OpenAI, which is the organization that started ChatGPT, and also Salesforce. So all these organizations are adopting these guidelines. You and your organization may have different ones, but an interesting theme comes out. You'll notice that there's a theme of safety or promoting positive outcomes and reducing negative ones. You'll also find honesty or promoting accuracy, truth, and reliability with these tools. That tends to be a consistent theme with these AI tools. All right, so we're just about to sunset our time together. Just out of curiosity, what other AI tools would you like to see in the future? Is it Power Automate? Is it more Copilot? If Copilot, would you like to see content around Copilot in Word or Excel or PowerPoint or Outlook? Or would you like to see something else? What other AI tools or practices would you like to see in the future? Sarah, thanks for mentioning that. Any tools that can be used for fundraising or for development? I'm just jotting notes here for future reference. Kurt, thank you for this one. Copilot, advanced guidance within 365 apps. I see a couple of thumbs up on that one. Thank you. Any other AI related applications, tools, maybe just automation conceptually? Maybe more Copilot activities, maybe Zoom. All right, excellent. Now you might, some of you might be typing out your responses. I'll let you just keep typing up that response. Any questions about the AI tools that I have presented to you today? As you might be typing up those questions, I just wanted to show you this here too as well, that a lot of what we covered is also available inside of our video library. So available for our partners. Once you log into the video library, AI is the very first category here listed, and you can click on AI and you could refresh on some prompt engineering basics, view today's session again, AI in the workplace. What are some cyber threats? How are bad actors using AI? And other AI related content. Separate sessions for each Office app, going in depth with each Office app. Great, thank you, Ram, for that. And if you're seeing people responding with tool or features or sessions that you'd like to see in the future, feel free to give it a thumbs up too. That'll let me know by popularity. Okay, I'm seeing a couple of direct messages. Thank you. Just taking notes of those. Excellent. Thank you for this. Any tool to build and train a chatbot. Excellent. I do want to invite you, again, if maybe an idea sparks, even after today's session, please don't mind emailing us at training@designdata.com or the Zoom survey that follows today's session. Feel free to share all of your thoughts on it, either specifically about today's presentation or even a tool or a feature set or anything around AI or automation that you'd like to see in the future. I've been taking notes. Thank you all for sharing your questions and requests there in the chat. I've taken notes of those. Thank you so much for joining us today in our AI in the Workplace session from designDATA. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.